Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you, and I know how much you guys have liked the Facebook Lives that I've done here for the last couple of weeks, just toying with something new to do and try out. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive, so I'm going to continue to try to do some more of these. I'll typically do them when I'm focused on some big events coming in. When things get quiet, I'll probably get quiet, which means you can check out and be quiet. You don't have to get worked up or antsy because things are kind of calm at the moment. So what we're going to do tonight is just take a quick look at the forecast here, kind of on the long range side, and tell you what you can experience over the next basically 10 to 15 days. And we'll look at the bigger picture across the entire country and kind of go from there. And yeah, it maybe look like I'm wearing my pajamas, but it's just a shirt. But I'm not changing. So if it looks like pajamas, so be it. Although that would be nice to do weather in my pajamas. I may actually try that one time. All right, so let's get down to business here and show you what we're talking about. We go to the maps, and I posted this earlier today, which is a computer model for the next 10 to 15 days. And it shows temperatures, wind speeds, instability, cloud cover. It's got all kinds of weather stuff on here. We'll call it a meteogram. So what we'll do is we'll take a more simplistic look at this because it may have been a little bit busy for you to look at earlier today. I also want to quickly show you that in northwest Oklahoma, where they got slammed by that ice storm, they still have power outages. Over 8,000 folks up there without power. It's going to be at least another week or so before all that power is restored. And of course, they're working as hard as fast as they can. Matt Lienbauer up in Woodward has done a great job at helping the folks up there. It's very reminiscent of the ice storm in 2007, just confined in a smaller area in the northwest Oklahoma and up into the panhandle. So let me go ahead and talk about the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's the first thing we want to focus on. Okay, so what we have is a little storm system that's kind of been moving through today. You saw the increase in clouds and probably even a couple of light showers, but otherwise no big deals. This system kind of works its way through the central part of the country. That's this guy right here. A lot of energy associated with it, anchored across Kansas here over the next 24 hours. And that will continue to kind of migrate slowly to the east. If we look out to the west, and matter of fact, let me do this step by step. We got another little system here. So there's a lot of these little bitty systems that'll come on in. Nothing too terribly concerning, of course. And as we kind of move, this will pass on by to our north again. This is on Saturday, late Friday into Saturday morning. That'll move out. Here comes another one. Now this one's coming in for Saturday night and Sunday. And this one, believe it or not, comes right smack dab here right along the Red River. So basically right over Oklahoma and North Texas. And there's a lot of energy associated with this one. So you can see all the colors on the map indicates a lot of lift in the atmosphere, which will help to produce some showers. And probably even a couple of thunderstorms, especially down south. You got more instability. Here in Oklahoma, it should just be rain. Not looking for any severe weather here at this point in time. Now that'll be moving through over the weekend, the latter part of the weekend. And then that's out of here. Things get quiet again, and then we'll focus on, let's see, was that the middle of next week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, yet another upper level low will make its way through the central part of the country. So the central part of the country is where all the action is for the most part here, and that's Nebraska and Kansas as each of these storm systems pass on by. And that'll move on in to the Great Lakes in the northeast, and that we have is a ridge of high pressure that'll start to develop out here in the desert southwest. And that puts us in this norther and northwesterly flow. And what that does is it drives all the energy here in the northeastern part of the country and a lot of the cold air up here as well. We kind of get a mixture. Sometimes a little bit cooler, but also we can get some downslope from the Rockies and actually kind of helps to warm things up. So we kind of get a mixed bag here of Oklahoma weather where it actually ends up on average and be pretty nice. We'll put this on into motion. Pattern stays locked in as we head into the latter part of January. And the ridge pumps and it gets even stronger and it kind of expands all up in here, all up in our business here across the western half of the country. So big fat ridge, nice quiet weather. The ski resorts can get a break. They won't be getting dumped on with snow anymore after these next few days. And then a big trough across the northeast. So that means probably some nor'easters or at least finally some precipitation up there where they've been dying for. They've been having kind of a boring year. And then we'll go on in toward the end of the month. So this takes us to early February. So this is basically February the 3rd. At this point in time, we have another system now anchored out across California. And this will eventually work its way once again into the central part of the country in Oklahoma. So we'll likely get a little bit of rain out of it. probably the late end of the third or fourth, somewhere right around that time frame. Now the question is, where's all the cold air? Well, we can take a look at that too, and I'll show you what you can expect in that department. So actually the best thing I'm going to do is just animate this and put this into motion for you and show you where you see the bright colors on the screen of the blues and purples. Of course, it's all confined across the Rockies and up here into Canada, kind of these big areas right here. The rest of the country, nice and toasty. Well, all things considering as far as this time of the year is concerned. And as we go through time, you can see little waves of cold air do migrate down southeast, but they kind of don't really penetrate that far, and then things kind of moderate with time. So by the time this thing ends, let me stop this again and put it to the ending frame, which is early February. At this point in time, the models have a ton of cold air. This bright purple up here is ridiculous. We're talking negative 20s and whatnot. But it's staying in Canada. It's not really infiltrating the United States. We do have some other cold air that does kind of come in the northern plains, and there's still some back here in Canada. Some of this may come down in the form of some highs early February. But for the most part, things will be pretty tranquil around here. Like I said, we got a little bit of rain coming on Sunday for this weekend, and then we'll eventually have some more rain or something coming in around the like 4th of February or 5th, somewhere in there. Cold air, just kind of sneaks in here as little cool downs, but all in all, not bad at all. Temperatures are pretty mild. So in general, we basically have kind of a milder winter pattern for a while. I still think things will flip back to cold, so we're not done with winter by any stretch of imagination. And this is going out a long ways in time, up to around 15 days or so, and a lot can change this time of the year with that, especially if the jet stream starts getting active again. So look for this not to be set in stone, but at least a trend that you can expect. And then once things do flip or change and the models start to pick up on a pattern change, we start to look for some action, then I can do another Facebook Live and update you then. But until then, just think of this as a status quo. And so no ice or snow on the immediate horizon, and no severe weather on the immediate horizon, and pretty much just some pretty decent weather. So that was a quick look at the weather here for tonight, and I do appreciate all the feedback that I got on what you guys wanted. A lot of you wanted just some quick hit weather summary right at the beginning, and then go into the details on kind of what else is coming if it's a big storm system to talk about. So I do appreciate all that feedback. I'm going to incorporate that into more of these Facebook Lives for you. So there you have it. Real quick, I'll give you a couple of questions, and then I'm going to head off and eat some dinner again for like my 6th meal of the day. So Ron says, sorry about your boys. Man, that Cowboy loss hurt. That was a tough day. Carly, you're welcome. So Chad was a little sad about all that. Paul wants to play golf on Friday. Hey, knock yourself out, Paul. If you are a golf aficionado, hardcore master, the weather doesn't slow you down. The weather doesn't slow any golfer down. It's amazing. Jay, I'm sorry about your girls, man. Just, at some point, I still think we're going to see a storm or two before the season's over. Remember, that takes us into at least about mid-March. And we typically get our heaviest snows in the latter part of the season as we get more moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. So I'm still hopeful that we're going to get a pretty good snowstorm in here. So we'll look for that. Chris says, thanks for the bread sales. Anytime. Just wants to heading for Houston for the weekend. Chance of rain. The best thing to do whenever you're traveling like that is to take my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, type in the city that you're going to be going to and in the current conditions or the current location. And when you do that, then you can put hit that tab at the top left for the menu, and you can put forecast on there. Also, that 24-hour slider will work. It'll basically give you the weather conditions for that city. So anytime you're traveling across the country, you can do that to see what the weather's going to be like there. So Justin wants to know, do you think this winter will get to actually be winter? Well, so far we have had winter. It's been below normal temperature-wise. And then even though we kind of moderate things here short term, I think we're going to be back below again for the gist of February. All right, Chickasha weather for the weekend. A little bit wet, Stacy. Some rain coming on in, probably late Saturday and then early Sunday for sure, that time span. Give or take a couple hours. We're still early. Christy, tell your boss, Dave, I'm not working. Oh, I have no pull in that department. I'm not so sure that's just going to get me in trouble. Does a mild winter mean a mild spring? No, unfortunately, I think it'll be below normal overall for the winter, a couple degrees. And then as far as the spring goes, it may be delayed a little bit as far as the warm up, and then but it'll catch up to normal. And then we'll probably see a little bit above normal season as far as severe weather goes. Will wants to know what's the main areas of future variability from this forecast. It could be anything. You're just looking at you track these Rossby waves across the globe. The long wave troughs that just kind of go through, and things change. They'll break off into shorter waves, and then these shorter waves then can speed up, slow down. So there's always something that's going to happen. Shannon, every time I watch you, feel like I'm watching ESPN. You like that backdrop, AT's weather? Yeah, I just played with something different. I seem to like it. Seems to look pretty good. Also, just a reminder that if you would like to make some plans to come on out to the Penn Square Mall on March 4th for the Severe Weather Expo, all the TV stations will be there, National Weather Service will be there, and I will be there. So a little bit of meet and greet. I'll give out some love handles and talk to you, take some pictures, tell you some stories, whatever you want to do. But I'll be out there from, I think it's 12 to 4 is the time frame, and I'll have my storm chasing crew with me, Oklahoma Storm Chasers. I'll have the chase vehicle out there. They got the new Hummer all decked out. So come on out then, it'll be fun. Let's see. Becky says go eat some dinner. I'm about to. I'm starving. So eating love handles. Yes, love handles. It's like this right here. You see that? So that is a love handle. And so basically you put your hands in here like this. You can hold your phone. So you can run with it. You can flip it over, watch stuff on your phone. Like you can watch myself. That's kind of creepy, isn't it? And then you can drink, grab your keys. So very popular item. And I've given out, man, I think a few thousand of these, and they're in high demand. So come on out to the Penn Square Mall and I can give you one. Let's see. I think that's about it. Michael wants to know, did this guy get fired? I thought he works for the FAA. Michael, what a weird question. Get fired from what? This is AT's weather. It's my weather. I'm not going to fire myself. That's ridiculous. Full-time job, though, I do work for the federal government. So how about that? This is what I do on the side for fun to help you guys out. Let's see. Severe Weather Expo. What? Yep, there's a Severe Weather Expo. I think it's their 4th year at Penn Square. Kirk wants to say, ever heard of pockets? I have no idea what you're talking about on the pockets deal. But sometimes I don't catch on to everything. So just tuned in, will it snow? It's funny. Not anytime soon. So we're going to be kind of delayed on the combination of cold air with the upper level storm systems that swing by here. So just rain. Anytime you're going to get any precip, it'll just be rain. Chris wants to know, there's going to be some drizzle tomorrow. And we have that little upper level system that's working its way through right now. I didn't really focus on the short term. Just kind of gave you the long term forecast on this deal. Let me see here. Let me see if this map I have will show much. Yeah, it just shows sprinkles in eastern Oklahoma as far as that goes. And then, because I haven't really looked at the forecast for tomorrow, because when the weather gets quiet, I get bored with it, so I don't pay much attention. I know it's funny, right? The weather, I'm not paying attention to the weather. Yeah, if it's nice, I'd tune out. Just check out what my app says for the forecast for tomorrow. Let's see. All right. I think that's going to be about it. Oh, Joe wants to know, was the last weekend better or worse than you expected? It's interesting because I'm torn. Because I don't want the worst to happen, but I want my forecast to verify. So it's kind of a catch-22. You want to be right, but knowing that you're right means some bad news. You don't necessarily want that either. It's kind of messed up. Same thing with forecasting tornadoes that are going to happen. It's just kind of an odd, weird feeling. But the deal is, we had about 12 hours of freezing drizzle, and the roads were fine. And I have never seen an event turn out like that. Now, the caveat was when I was doing the forecast that week, at the end of one of the broadcasts, I said, now there's a potential where if the freezing drizzle is too light, that a lot of it will evaporate off the roadways and they'll be mostly fine. Turns out that was actually the best forecast ever, and I should have put more emphasis on that, but it was a low probability outcome. I really didn't think that would be the outcome. It was potentially there. It was possible. That's why I mentioned it, but there was too much weight given to the other of the freezing drizzle, because all it takes is 1/100th around here to shut this city down with temperatures in the 20s. So the fact that we had freezing drizzle, even the airport observations every hour reported it, it was very fine, and it was just too fine. It was too light, and as I said, the very lowest level of atmosphere where we breathe here a few feet off the ground, it was just dry enough to where that stuff just kept evaporating, and it just didn't stick to the roads, and so the roads were fine. Ground temperatures were right around 40 degrees, so that kind of helped. Even though air temperature was 27 in the morning and then 28 during the bulk of the day and then 29 for the afternoon, that's still plenty cold to freeze on contact, even bridges and overpasses. Of course, the city also did some really good jobs at getting the streets wet, ready as well. But that's here in the city. I mean, even the rest of the roads in Oklahoma, as far as I know, for the most part, were okay. I knew there were some slick spots at times, but by far and large, not bad. And then the heavier round of the freezing rain, even though it was supposed to kick in Friday, that timing came out all right. It was just kind of, like I said, with the roads not being that bad of a deal, and temperatures around 30 to 32 degrees from the west side of town to the east side of town, the accumulation occurred basically just on the elevated trees, that kind of a deal, vegetation, elevated surfaces, and we'd up about a quarter to half inch at most here in I think it was the west side of the metro toward El Reno, then up around Stillwater, and the rest was about a quarter inch or less. So it ended up being not too terrible here over central Oklahoma. Now, given the same setup, would I forecast the exact same outcome? Probably. Just because I tell you what, the minute you don't call for an ice storm and you get freezing rain for 36 hours, your name's mud. You better call for an ice storm. Now, whether or not it sticks to the roads, that's not my call. I cannot predict that. I can tell you what falls from the sky from that point forward. It's anyone's guess. All right. I think that was enough on that. So, David, I'm sorry, brother. The Cowboys are out of it. The only thing they're going to win is the fight over the remote control on the couch. So anyway. All right. Well, I think that's going to be about it. I'm going to sign off here for the night, but thanks again for watching AT's Weather and for asking your questions, either being silly or serious. It works either way for me. And we'll talk with you soon, and I'll leave this up so you can go back and hit the play button and see what the long-range outcome is and what you can expect here across the state. All right, everybody. Have a good night.